Hi there, Mazda. It's Mrs. Sheen. I just thought I'd make a video to talk you through your summary a little bit. Okay, first of all, it's a good start, and you've definitely been able to clearly identify the main idea and the three key factors. And you've also done a pretty good job of summarizing the supporting points for each of those. So that's great. I would say the main thing you need to work on in your second draft is language and making sure that your summary clearly and correctly um, expresses the ideas of the original article. Okay, you're close, but some of the language is a little tricky. And what I'll do is when I grade it, I will attach a document like I did last time where I highlight things and I point out things, but I just want to talk about a few of them here. So, first of all, notice here where you said the author explains three major factors for someone who lives more than 100 year. Okay, so three major factors. When you say for someone, it's a little bit like a little bit strange. Okay, so it's not really for them, but it's why they live, right? It's not the factors that are just for those people, but it's the factors that cause those people to live more than 100 years, right? So I think the key is this word right here, for. You need to probably change that word, and it needs to be something like maybe three major factors why someone, not someone who, but why someone lives, okay, more than 100 year. And notice that 100 is more than one, right? So that means the word year needs to be plural. You wouldn't say, I am 5-year old, right? You'd say, I'm 5 years old, or I'm 40 years old, or I'm 100 years. Years is plural, so you want that to be plural. So that's an example of a grammar issue. Another one that I want to talk about is you've got a few what we call um, fragments. Sorry, I'm having trouble with my words. So, like, look at this example here. I'm trying to get that thing to go away so I can show you. Let me just fix it. Okay, so look at this sentence. You said the first factor is hereditary. Okay, so that's fine. But then look at this sentence. If you are genetically tall and bend over, has a resistant body, and against many heart diseases, same as cancer, or deliver a baby after 40s, period. If what? If what? You didn't tell me the rest of the sentence, right? If you start with a sentence with if, you have to give the result of that condition, right? For example, if I say to you, trying to think of an example. Okay, let me have a second. Okay, if you exercise, you will become stronger, right? If you exercise, you will become stronger. That's all one sentence. If I stop at if you exercise more, you're waiting for the rest, right? If I exercise what? What? Well, you have to do that in writing too, not just in speaking. So in this sentence here, you wrote, um, if you are genetically tall and bend over, has a resistant body against many heart diseases, same as cancer, or deliver a baby after 40s, what? What's the result? Right? The simplest thing to do is you could just take away the if and change it into a direct sentence. You know, people who are genetically tall, blah, 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 tend to live longer. Or you, as you want to make it similar to the article, it's like many centenarians or many people who live to be 100 years old are genetically tall. So it's the article is not really about if you, right? It's about people who what kind of people? Any people? No. People who live 100 years or more. So you could just call them centenarians if you want. Centenarians are genetically tall and so on. Okay. Now there's also some grammar problems with that sentence, right? And there's some details that are not correct, like bend over. What does that mean? Bend over is when I stand and I bend my body down. That's nothing to do with living to be 100. Okay, so, and that's not in the original article, but those things I'll mark in color codes on your page. Okay. Here's another example. The second factor is environmental. Have a good diet and eat healthy foods. Also avoid from smoke and alcohol is the reason. Okay, it's a little bit better, but at the beginning of the sentence, have a good diet, eat healthy, avoid. That's what we call the imperative. You may have studied this in another class. It's where you're giving a command, right? Like you tell your child, clean your room, brush your teeth, do your homework, right? You can't, those sentences can't be subjects of the verb is. Okay? You have to have nouns, not commands, to be subject of the verb is. So you have to change the form to something like having a good diet, eating healthy foods, avoiding smoke. Those are some things we call gerunds, okay? And you've learned a little bit about those probably in ESL 21, I think you learn a little bit about gerunds, and maybe in 31 as well. Okay, but you have to change that so it makes sense. All right. So, also, there's some things that just really aren't clear. Like this sentence here, no matters how old they, no matters how old are they, and that is an item that we cannot see in US. The sentence, do you see, can you hear it, why it doesn't make sense? No matters how old are they? Is it a question or a sentence? And what is it about? Who are they? And what does that have to do? What do you mean that's an item we cannot see? It doesn't, that sentence is just doesn't make sense. Do you understand what I'm saying? One of the things that helps sometimes when you're writing Mazda is to read it out loud to yourself. And you'll hear some mistakes. So I'm going to read it out loud and you listen and tell and you think if you notice any mistakes. In the article Centenarians, the author explains 3 major factors for someone who lives more than 100 years. The first factor is hereditary. If you are genetically tall and bend over, has a resistant body against many heart diseases, same as cancer, or deliver a baby after 40s. It seems that to be a centenarian is genetically spreads in a family. You have children with an old age, or at least one close family with old ages. The second factor is environmental. Have a good diet and eat healthy foods. Also avoid from smoke and alcohol is the reason to be centenarian. Next, things that related to environmental are physical training, pay attention to the world surrounded, and also to be optimistic and joyful from life. Final factor is culture. The culture should give old persons a good feeling that they are still important and useful, no matters how old they, no matters how old are they, and that is an item that we cannot see in US. Author recommends paying attention and following those factors for everybody who wants to live more than 100 years. Okay, so I hope that helps you, and I will type some other things up and attach them for you as well. So make sure you go through everything before you do your rewrite, but it's a great start. Thank you.